Welcome to Bible Quiz Central. Our quizzes are perfect for the whole family and a great way to build your knowledge of the Bible together. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss a quiz. We post new videos every week. Each video features 10 challenging questions that will help you learn and grow in your faith. Ready to test your knowledge? Let's get started. What was the first plague that struck Egypt? Water turned to blood. Frogs invaded the land. Locusts devoured crops. Darkness covered Egypt. Water turned to blood. Exodus 7:20. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord had commanded. He raised his staff in the presence of Pharaoh and his officials and struck the water of the Nile, and all the water was changed into blood. Which plague caused the Egyptians to dig for water around the Nile? Frogs. Gnats. Water turned to blood. Hail. Water turned to blood. Exodus 7:24. And all the Egyptians dug along the Nile to get drinking water, because they could not drink the water of the river. What animal filled the land during the second plague? Locusts, frogs, lions, snakes. Frogs. Exodus 8:6. So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. Which plague turned dust into gnats? The third plague, the fifth plague, the seventh plague, the 10th plague. The third plague. Exodus 8:16-17. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron, stretch out your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and throughout the land of Egypt the dust will become gnats." They did this, and when Aaron stretched out his hand with the staff and struck the dust of the ground, gnats came on people and animals. All the dust throughout the land of Egypt became gnats. During which plague did swarms of flies cover Egypt? First, fourth, sixth, eighth. Fourth. Exodus 8:24. And the Lord did this. Dense swarms of flies poured into Pharaoh's palace and into the houses of his officials. Throughout Egypt, the land was ruined by the flies. What happened to the livestock of the Egyptians during the fifth plague? They ran away. They became aggressive. They turned into frogs. They were struck by disease. They were struck by disease. Exodus 9:3-6. The hand of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your livestock, in the field on your horses, donkeys and camels, and on your cattle, sheep and goats. But the Lord will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and that of Egypt, so that no animal belonging to the Israelites will die. The Lord set a time and said, "Tomorrow the Lord will do this in the land." And the next day the Lord did it. All the livestock of the Egyptians died, but not one animal belonging to the Israelites died. What plague caused boils to break out on humans and animals? Second plague, sixth plague, eighth plague, 10th plague. Sixth plague. Exodus 9:9-10. It will become fine dust over the whole land of Egypt, and festering boils will break out on people and animals throughout the land. So they took soot from a furnace and stood before Pharaoh. Moses tossed it into the air, and festering boils broke out on people and animals. What natural disaster was part of the seventh plague? Hailstorm, earthquake, volcanic eruption, tornado. Hailstorm. Exodus 9:22-25. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the sky, so that hail will fall all over Egypt on people and animals, and on everything growing in the fields of Egypt." When Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, the Lord sent thunder and hail, and lightning flashed down to the ground. So the Lord rained hail on the land of Egypt, hail fell, and lightning flashed back and forth. It was the worst storm in all the land of Egypt since it had become a nation. Throughout Egypt, hail struck everything in the fields, both people and animals. It beat down everything growing in the fields and stripped every tree. What did Pharaoh's servants ask him to do after the eighth plague of locusts? Harden his heart further, increase their food stores. Let the Israelites go. Worship the locusts. Let the Israelites go. Exodus 10:7. Pharaoh's officials said to him, "How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the people go, so that they may worship the Lord their God. Do you not yet realize that Egypt is ruined?" What was the final plague that convinced Pharaoh to release the Israelites? Frogs in the palace, locusts eating crops, darkness for 3 days, death of the firstborn. Death of the firstborn. Exodus 12:29-31. At midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on the throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner, who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all the livestock as well. 30 Pharaoh and all his officials and all the Egyptians got up during the night, and there was loud wailing in Egypt, for there was not a house without someone dead. During the night, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Up, leave my people, you and the Israelites. Go worship the Lord as you have requested." That's it for today's Bible quiz. How did you do? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed, give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Got prayer requests? Leave them below. Thanks for watching. God bless.